Hey, it's Dave Salvadore of Blueline Design. Thanks for coming back to my channel for the final part in the series on environmental design. You saw me go from concept art to building the model. Today, I'm going to be finishing up the series by sharing with you my painting process. Let's get right into that. So before I prime the model, I seal all the edges with Elmer's glue. This will keep the primer from eating away at the exposed foam. Then I go ahead and prime the model using a matte black paint. It's good to take your time and do lots of thin layers rather than one thick one, which will obscure all the details. When painting bigger models like terrain, I usually use affordable craft paints, which I get at my local Hobby Lobby. For the first part, I'm going to paint the room this bluish color to match the rest of the Space Hulk. For most of this, I'll use a flat, wide brush that I can quickly block on the bluish colors. Then, using different shades of a turquoise blue color, I begin to work from a dark to light palette. The key to dry brushing is to brush off most of your paint onto a rag and then build up the colors lightly. And gradually I add white to each of the base colors, wipe off most of the paint, and then lighten up the high points. With the base coat done, I then take a grungy brush, water down some black paint, and flick it onto the model to give it some texture and grit. The next phase, I'm going to be doing a lot of metal work, so I'm going to show you a quick way of doing it.
Now it's time for speed painting metal.
Here's a quick technique for painting 3 kinds of metal: steel, copper, and gold. First, take oily steel, dry brush it onto all of it. Next, take some copper and brass. The oily steel will help the copper and the gold to really stand out. Next, use Citadel's Nuln Oil and Agrax Earthshade. Use the Nuln Oil on the steel. Use the Earthshade on the copper and the gold.
Don't be stingy.
After it dries, we'll move on to highlighting. Take a silver color and mix it with the original base coat. Use that to highlight the metal. Next, we're going to weather it down. Use some burnt sienna for rust. Next, we're going to use mint teal for some patina. I'm going to use burnt sienna and teal on the gold.
There you go. 3 kinds of metal painted fast.
So that's the basic metal painting technique that I'm going to use and apply it to the model. So I really like these rooms to have a steampunk feel to them with different kinds of metals. The easiest way to do this is to start off with just a base coat of that oily steel. While that dries, I begin to paint all the elements that are going to be hazard yellow, a brown, so that yellow paint will really stand out. And the fastest way I found to paint hazard stripes is to masking tape off the area that I'm going to paint yellow. Once I dry brush on the layers of yellow, I then take a black Sharpie marker to draw the lines and then paint them in. After cleaning up any of the areas that the hazard tape needed, I move on to adding copper and gold to the different parts of the machines in the room. I then use the shades to begin weathering the metals. Then using that burnt sienna, I begin to rust up all of the steel areas. I then use the minty teal to go in and add some of the corrosion effect to the copper and to the gold. If you find that it's too blue, you can easily add a little bit of white or water to kick it down. I then move on to painting the alien organism. The inspiration for this is a Broodlord model that I had previously painted. I didn't want this organism to look like a plant. I wanted it to look fleshy and kind of creepy, so I started off with painting a base coat of a light creamy white. It was really neat for me to begin to see all of the detail that I had sculpted into the alien organism coming out with this white dry brushing. I also used a fine brush to begin to add more of the veins branching off from the main stems that had been sculpted. I then used this Druchii Violet shade to begin to creepify that alien life form. I was really enjoying painting this alien organism. It was taking me back to my old makeup effects days where I enjoyed painting all kinds of wacky monsters. I then used a bluish shade to add some variation to the organism. And for the finishing touches to the alien, I dry brushed on a creamy white to add that fleshy effect. I then coated the alien with a gloss varnish to make it appear as if it's wet. A large room in the Space Hulk has been infested with unknown life forms. There is only one door in and one way out, a ladder in the back of the room. So I hope you enjoyed watching that video. If you wouldn't mind hitting the subscribe button, it'd really help me out. I'm gonna take a little bit of a summer break and enjoy time with my family. Work has been really busy. And also, I've been working on a three-dimensional version of an old game called Hero Quest. I know I have a problem. I love building stuff. I plan to make more videos in the fall. If you want to get notification on when those videos come out, please hit the bell icon below. Until then, keep drawing, keep designing.